Hey, what's going on, runners and rooks? So, as many of you have probably done, I watched the season 2 teaser this past week and the Vidoc for Bungie, talking about all the changes that are coming here in season 2. And being my nerdy self, I went ahead and took some screenshots and cross-referenced them with a bunch of the icons we have in the game and have compiled a bit of an interactive slideshow to look through that I think is going to show my favorite things about what's to come in season 2 and how we can extend our build crafting past what we had in season 1. Now, let me tab over here real quick. Okay, so for season 2, the biggest changes that we're going to look at is the change to our implants being named what the perk is. Now, from what they were saying in the Vidoc, it looks like the stats are going to correlate directly to the name of the implant. So, for instance, this Superior Fight Club is going to always give you plus 35 melee, negative 10 to hardware, and plus 15 to fall resistance. And then the Stealth Servos, the Prestige implant over here, is always going to give you 25 heat, 25 agility, and 25 damage. Now, this is a lot less, frankly, than what we've got right this second on our implants, stat-wise. But with this change is coming the Cradle, which is going to be a system for us to power up our shells across the board for the entire season. And we're going to be able to reset it infinitely. So if you need to switch up your build to swap shells, maybe you're running triage or recon and you really want some tactical or prime ability recovery versus playing a vandal or a destroyer shell, and you really want that movement in the melees, right? So this is going to be pretty cool. So I've taken some screen grabs from the Vidoc here. This is what the Cradle is going to look like. I guess once you're up at level 70, once you're higher, you're going to be able to have multiple sections maxed out. So like this one right here, it's already got the recharge, the dexterity, and the support already maxed out, and everything else is halfway or above. So they're hitting these second thresholds. Now, when I was looking at this, one thing I noticed is that these icons look incredibly similar to the ones that we already have here in the game. Okay, so I went through and snipped out all the icons out of the faction upgrade trees that you can get currently and what they do. So I can match them up to the Cradle's icons to see if we can get a preview of what we're going to be getting. Okay, so if you want to pause here and read all of these, I'll read the relevant ones as we go. We've got 3 pages of these icons just for quick references. You can pause on each of those screens if you'd like. So here is the screen grab for the Cradle with each of the icons that we currently have in game directly next to the icon on the Cradle. Okay, so we should be able to make out exactly what we're going to be getting at each of these threshold points. So like for the strength section, it's going to take 6 upgrades to get that first one, whereas for recharge, it only is going to take 4, and then dexterity 5 to get to that first. I guess capstone is what these are kind of looking like, and they've each got 3 separate ones. It's just where you hit that first and second one is different depending on which section of the tree you're building into. So I've broken it down further. So here for strength, on this upgrade, we can see that strength, you're getting extra melee damage and extra finisher siphon for each one. Now we've got these icons here and they correlate, I believe, to current perks that we already have, right? So bigger melee, bigger finisher siphon. But the other thing that might potentially be happening is these are just the raw stats that you get for investing into this section. And these capstone-like icons are going to be additional effects that you get. Like this one right here, we can look and see it is from the leech.exe, which is a really high-tiered Arachne upgrade currently, where your knife attacks restore a small amount of health. Here, it looks like if you're maxing out the strength tree, you might be getting an effect like that. So we're going to go down and look at recharge. Recharge is prime and tactical recovery. And I believe, based off of what these capstones are looking like, is you're going to start getting stuff like not just the tac amp and the prime amp, but also what is currently called Head Start and Primed in the Sekaguchi tree. Instead of the tac amp and prime amp, the Head Start and Primed are what give you the charge for your tactical ability or your prime ability on spawn. I'm not fully sure what this one is gonna be. We can try and match that up here. Lethal Amp is what it looks most likely to be. Downing a runner grants you tactical ability energy, and eliminating a runner gives you prime ability energy. That's what this looks like it's most likely gonna be, but we're not gonna be able to be sure until the seasonal changeover over on the June 2nd. We're gonna pop down to dexterity. So this one's got dexterity maxed out. Looks like a total addition of 55 agility and 55 loot speed. So that's going to replace this flex matrix that we have in Mida right now, which is what increases your baseline jump, how much you can like mantle within the map, and also your loot speed. So this is currently in Cyber Acme, but it looks like it's just getting swapped over straight to dexterity, which is pretty cool. And I'm curious to see, so this icon here was related previously to slider.exe, which was also from Cyber Acme. Your sprint slide generates less heat, which is going to be really big on something like a Vandal, right? Because you're going to be sliding around like crazy. So that's pretty cool that the agility and the dexterity is going to be tied into not only your passive movement that's not tied to sprint speed, but just your walk speed, your crouch speed, your loot speed, the sliding. It's all going to be on this tree. And I'm eager to see what these capstone upgrades are going to be looking like and what we're going to get out of them. Because I bet you it's going to be more than what we've got right now. Then we're going to look over at the support. So this is where we're going to find these icons that are currently reboot and tracker. So think triage, recon, getting your teammates up, pinging so that you have more information on your enemies. So this icon here is the same one as the tracker.exe that's currently out of Traxxas. And then over here, it's the same icon from reboot.exe. We've also got this right here under support. I believe that is currently the new Cal healing, just the baseline healing, self-healing stat. Yeah, right here, recovery.exe. And that's just through New Caloric currently. But it looks like it's going to be tied in to the support section of the Cradle, which is going to be pretty cool. I'm really excited to see this. So these are the ones that are shown within the Vidoc, where it actually is showing you the proper stats for it. So the next two is just going to be extrapolation on my part. So endurance. Based off of what is shown here, it looks like this is going to be where your heat capacity is, potentially your fall resistance. We're looking at these icons. This icon right here, if you take a look, it is effectively the same icon as Quick Vent from Cyber Acme right now. And if you don't recall, Quick Vent is your heat recovery begins more quickly after you've done an action that generates heat. This is the next one right here for it, and that is currently the active cool, also through Cyber Acme. And those are the baseline upgrades that help with your heat generation and your heat conservation. And then here's one. I actually don't even have this one yet. This is going to be heat death. It looks like eliminating any hostile reduces your currently generated heat. So the endurance is probably going to be focused more on that. And what I wouldn't be shocked to see is if some of these also increase your just baseline sprint speed. So you can really be hauling tail across the maps on Tau Ceti. Now, one that I'm also super excited to see. So if you guys here in season 1 being a part of the guinea pig phase, I don't know if you guys ever got one shot by lightning on Outpost. It really sucked. And that is what made me start spending points to get these reinforced and unfazed buffs to reduce the damage of EMP and mech effects. Also, this Tau Ceti resist. So the Tix Lightning and Heat Cascade deal reduced damage. It looks like these icons correlate to this right here. It's not exact. So if you notice, this exclamation mark right here has little hashes coming off of it, whereas this one has kind of parentheses. And this first has a little clock looking thing in the middle of it. It might be Scab Factory, maybe. Increased down but not out time. I'm not sure. Again, we'll have to see on June 2nd. This is mostly just speculation at this point. I will do a full breakdown as soon as the season starts and get a look at all of this as much as possible. This one here at the end, it's got the same icon as Field Medic, which is in New Caloric currently. It would be cool to see that as part of Resistance, because then you'd have a reason to actually crank that up towards the end of the season. But we currently don't know. So here's my biggest questions going into the season is, how fast are we going to hit diminishing returns when dealing with this entire system? Because you can see right here, level 70, 0 out of 0 XP, that might be the cap for the Cradle for this right now, or it's just what they chose to show in the Vidoc. It might be impossible to get all 6 of these sections all the way maxed unless you just absolutely grind your face off. I think that'd be really cool, but then you'd have a lot of people just spamming it to try and get it all the way up so that you could be as powerful as possible. What would be a little bit more balanced would be if this is kind of the end state, not necessarily this tree in particular, but specifically only being able to fully max 3 and then getting the other 2 capstone unlocks in the other 3, or even just taking 1 capstone in one and 2 in another, and then getting 4 full unlocks at the end for strength, recharge, dexterity, endurance, and then maybe on support and resistance, you just go to the first one, and then you have all 3 of the capstones for all of them. I'm not sure. We're going to have to look and see, but it's turning up to be a really cool way to make your character your own. A lot more so than this first season. Because in this first season, the goal was just get as many of these as possible so that you had as many base stats as possible, and then utilize your implants to increase your stats from there. Now, it's looking like it's going to be, okay, what implants do I have, and how do they help me as far as raw stats? Now, I'm going to go over and look at the Cradle. All right, here's what I'm doing for this match, and here's what I'm going to need. How can I supplement my armor to get me the perks that are going to work best for my playstyle and for my team's playstyle? And that's really exciting. And that is what I am most looking forward to in Season 2 for the Buildcraft. Another thing I'm going to touch on, because this is not an in-depth video, this is just I'm nerding out and wanting to share my thoughts on this. This screenshot from the Vidoc of John Marathon exfiltrating, I am so glad that they are adding in more stats to the end of the screen. The end of run screen. So this exfiltrated combat eliminations, runner downs, runner damage, and crew revives, in addition to everything, instead of just it being combat eliminations, runner eliminations, revives, inventory value. It doesn't seem like a lot, just adding 2 extra lines here, but runners down and runner damage, that's going to make you feel better at the end of a run. Maybe you weren't the one who was getting all the finishes. Maybe your recon was getting the finishes to get the pings on the rest of the team. You can still say, hey, we killed 6 people. It was a total of, 600 damage a team. So that's 1,200 damage that was dealt out. I did 800 damage of that. You guys got the finish, but I was an active participant in the fight. And it really leads to either more team play or, the one sweaty person saying, haha, I did everything. And you guys just sat in my backpack. But I'm really excited to see how everybody is going to go into Season 2. I'm really excited for it. If you guys have any questions, comments, or ideas for what we want to look at as soon as the season starts, put it down in the comments and let me know, and I will do my best to make either a short or long form video to answer your questions. Thank you so much for watching. Y'all have a great day. Stay safe out there.